Hello everybody, today we are going to discuss the 22nd chapter of The Invisible Man, that is in the Emporium. In the last chapter we discussed what happened to him in the Oxford Street when he was out there. He faced different problems and he had to suffer a lot because of his invisibility, and he came to know, he understood that invisibility had lots of disadvantages, and now he wanted to give himself a credible appearance. Now here he was again out in the street, all wretched, cold, very painful, very miserable, had no refuge, had no one whom he could confide in, and of course he dared not to go and accost a passerby and tell his problems and secrets and to be at the mercy of that man. Really, he could understand and he could imagine the consequences, the brutal consequences of all those things. And so now, all helpless, he was walking in that cold, chilly atmosphere, and finally there came a brilliant idea in his mind. He walked down this Tottenham Street and reached this Emporium. The name of this Emporium is Omnium. Yes, and he found himself standing outside that Omnium. He found the doors closed. He had thought it would be open, but no, it was all closed. And then after some time came a person. He was of course an employee there in that uniform and was wearing a cap with Omnium written on that, and he entered. Opening the door, he entered. Invisible Man got a chance to enter Omnium. The first department he saw was full of gloves and stockings and other such things. Following that man, he went to a different section. Now there he found bedsteads and other such things, furniture. He clambered on one of the bedstead and rested there on a mattress for some time. People were looking at the things on display there, searching, trying to find what they wanted. So he thought of resting at that place for some time, and now he was quite happy, thinking that what he would do later on, that he would put on clothes, would give himself a credible appearance, and then finally would escape from that place without being noticed, all unobserved. That was his plan. And now after he waited there for some time, then the crowd slowly diminished. People were out, they were moving out of Emporium, and then came a group of young men and they started whipping down things, just shaking the dust off and putting the things back which they had kept out, all for display during the day. And they put all the chairs on the counters, and he saw them doing all these with such an alacrity and such fast speed that he was all amazed. And then when they were gone came another group of young men, and they were all with pails and brooms, and they started cleaning the floor and all the place. And after some time he could hear the sound of broom and all those things from his resting place, and finally they were also gone. It was locked and there reigned silence. Now he thought it was proper time for him to come out. He came out of that resting place, and he had devil of the hunt to find a matchbox first, because it was all dark now, and to search and to go around he needed of course light. So he had to first look for the matchbox, which he found in a small cash drawer, and then he got a candle and then he prowled around. And first he went to the department where he had seen those stockings and gloves and such things, socks. He went there, and there he got the things which he wanted. Then he went to food section. There he found some toffees and chocolates and such things. He was hungry as well, so he first quenched his he satiated his belly. He ate those things he found called meat and coffee as well. He warmed up the coffee and add that meat as well. Then he got to other section, and there he found jacket, trousers and all such things. Also the lamb's wool clothing. Lamb's wool clothing is such which actually is quite skin tight, fits to your skin, and also he got all that. Moreover, now he saw a toy section there as well, and there he found fake nose and other such things. He was quite troubled about his nose, because that was a great problem for him. He was even thinking of painting his nose, but there was no need to paint his nose because he found a fake nose. He got other things as well, whiskers and wig and all such things, and now he was clearly, we can say, a credible personality, a credible appearance now he had. He could go with all that before the other people and such. That was that could be done now. So with all those things on his body, with all the clothes, now he went to another section. There he found mattresses and other things, and now he thought of resting and having a sleep there, and then the next day he would go out of that place without being noticed. That was all going in his mind. Now he slept and he had dreams, and in his dreams it was all about the happenings or the things which happened to him in the last few days, that how he reveled in troubling the people, how he enjoyed doing some mischiefs and naughtiness. All that he was thinking of, all that in his dreams. All such things were coming, and then he imagined about, or then he thought about his father as well. All the people there, the clergymen chanting the rituals, and then he saw himself being forced into the grave, and he shouted and he screamed, but nobody was listening to him. All were busy in the rituals, and in the fear of all that, when he saw all this in the dream, he was all afraid, and he woke up, and it was dawn, and the Emporium was now being opened. There were two people who were coming into the Emporium. He got afraid and he tried to run away from that place, and that created a sound, a noise, and they got aware of his presence, and they said, "See, there is somebody. He is running." The other said, and now he started running. He thought of escaping from that place, and then he hit something. He threw something on first. Actually, he bowled the one person who was approaching him. He bowled the person over, and then he ran away. He hid himself behind a counter, and they were searching for him, making plans to catch him. And then somebody saw that he was he was hiding behind a counter, and they said he is there. And then again he got up and ran away from there, and there he found that arts pots, and he took one of the pots and smashed it upon one of them. So whatever he could lay his hands on, he was taking that and throwing it upon those people who were chasing him and running after him. Then he came to the kitchen, and there the chef was there, and he hid himself there. But then there also his presence was found, and see, it was not coming into his mind that he could remove his clothes and disappear and be completely invisible. And that was, perhaps his mind was all obsessed with the plans that he had made, that he would come out in the disguise, in that appearance, and then there would be no problem at all. So he was not yet out of all those things, and so this didn't come to his mind that he can remove his clothes. And then he out of that place in the kitchen when he was his presence was found. He ran from there as well. He hit that cook and the other people as well. Just made him go spinning around there. And again he found a found a place to hide himself. And finally he started removing his clothes and other things, and somebody saw and they shouted that, see, he is removing his plunder, means whatever he had looted, he was removing all that. They started searching for him now, but it was not easy to find or locate him. Later on, though, it was quite difficult for him to remove that lamb's wool clothing. As I told you, it was skin fitting clothes, tight fitting clothes, so it was great difficulty for him, but somehow later on he could remove them as well. And later when he was free of all those clothes, he had removed all those clothes, then there was no way of finding him or just getting him there, catching him there. Now he was free again and was sitting there listening to the people talking about him, his depredations, whatever he had done there, his plunders and lootings in a very exaggerated way. He was listening to all that. Finally he rested there for some time. He found some milk, he drank that and waited, because it was difficult. He was thinking how to get out of that place with some plunders, some things that he could loot and take. But yes, it was really very difficult to get something out of that place, and in the condition when all were alarmed and alert. So finally he had to go out of that emporium in the night when that snowfall had thawed, it had got down, the cold or chilliness of the atmosphere had got down. He came out of that emporium, and again all helpless and miserable in the street, in that miserable situation. So this is all given in this 22nd chapter in the Emporium. And now what happens to him after this episode of Emporium, what he did, how he managed to get a credible appearance, how he managed to get the clothes and things back. To know more about that, to discuss the other things, further chapters, watch the next video. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.